All right, hello everybody, and welcome to another video of Green Square Talks Battlebots. Here we have the episode 8 review podcast. We got a big group for this one. At the top row, we got Civilian Arc in the middle, we got Pory Nog on the right, and the bottom row, we got Spin Doctor, and then the middle row, we got BBBnpodcasts making his return, and then the middle, we got a few guests of honor here. We got Bunny Sorial and David from Team Malice. I'm sorry, I forgot how to pronounce the last name.
Wow.
Lao. Oh, so yeah, how's it going, everybody?
Fabulous.
Good.
I'm doing well, doing good.
Green.
What's up,
I'm
Pory?
doing great.
But no, I'm saying I'm feeling green.
Oh, that's what you said.
Might delete later.
No, I ain't deleting later because my favorite robot's 3-0. I'm happy.
That's very true. One of my favorites is 2-1, and then another favorite got their first victory in this one, and I stacked up on points in King of Draft after this week. So yeah, so basically the plan of this podcast is basically we're gonna go through each fight one by one and discuss it and stuff, and then we're gonna end it with power rankings as we usually do, and yeah. So I think we're ready to go ahead and get started with the first fight.
Yay.
All right, we got our first fight here. We got Malice and Blacksmith, and definitely one of the best fights of the season so far. This was an absolute banger to start it off, and I can't wait to discuss this one. And it's great to have team members from one of the teams that was on the actual fight here to share some insight with us and so on. So I'll go ahead and leave the floor to everybody else here. What do you all have on this fight? So.
Yeah, this was just like a beautiful fight. Like, I'm never that loving on like opening fights because I'm always like getting back from home on an annoying day at school. So I'm just like, yeah, I hate my life. But then when I see that opening fight, like, that's an amazing opening fight. Like, I genuinely loved it. It was so amazing.
Fun thing about this fight is we damaged his power hammer before he hit our weapon. So before his hammer came down into our weapon, we had actually already damaged it, and it's not very easy to see in the episode, but it's really easy to see in the photos.
I noticed from the photo of the episode that there was a bent piece right over near where the power hammer is, which I think is what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I will.
And it ended up being the reason he stayed on fire for so long is because he had a very slow leak. We ended up like just pulling. We ripped out when we hit him, we ripped the wires of the power hammer into the top, and like because from the rip he had a really slow leak, which is why he was able to stay on fire for so long instead of suddenly when you puncture the tank, that's when you get the big uppercut versus saw blaze fires, whereas ours stayed on fire for so long because it was just a really slow leak from us pulling his wires out.
Okay. I have a lot to say since this is my first podcast of the season. I have a lot to say. I will say Malice as the robot you guys had like a really hard strength of schedule to start out. Like none of your fights were easy opponents. Like you start off with Tantrum, like solid like brick robot. Then you have Jackpot, which like honestly hit like a truck during that fight. So
what's really funny is they really edited Jackpot very heavily too. So like instead of like in reality we almost took Jackpot out with us.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why they edited it to show that they were really dominating, because in reality, like at the very end, Jackpot was crab walking just as badly as we were, and we took him out pretty well. So like we had really great fights, even though we had a really strong strength of schedule. We had really great like fights that showed what we could do.
I will say this fight against Blacksmith was like your coming out party almost. Like you showed like the 2020 like Malice, like those big hits, those big like hits that just kept on coming and coming. Like you showed that like consistency, and I really enjoyed the fight. I think this was one of the best fights of the season, and once the dust settles, like once the season's over, this will probably be a top 5 fight, and maybe even like a top like 10, top 20 fight of all time, like in the reboot. So it was a great fight.
That's exactly what I said during the fight.
That's what he said during the fight. He's like, this is so cool.
I would agree. That
I was
fight.
so
that
tired.
fight
I
was
had a broken
amazing.
rib.
Yeah, one of my favorites, like, not just the season, but, like, the whole series.
Yeah.
Oh, yay! Thank you. That's so nice. It was such a, I don't know, it was such a great fight for us too. You know, we really love Al. Like, he's so funny
Who
because he's
doesn't?
so he's so serious and he has such a personality, and you have to really like get to know him for him to open up to you, and it's really fun to like get to fight him because he opens up a lot more after you fight him. He's not as approachable before you fight him, but then once you fight him, he's like, hey, effing Malice.
It's funny.
What you got, Pory?
I wanna
Something
fight-
we've heard from you.
I want to fight Blacksmith just because I want Al Kindle to shitpost about me afterwards. That's like the best part of a Blacksmith fight. Like
Yes, it's the best
afterwards
part.
going on to
It's the
Facebook
best
and
part. Yeah, it really is.
The
It really is the
banter.
best part about fighting at Blacksmith because he then takes he respects you more once you beat him.
yeah, he's like the master of the shit posting.
It was so bad. My mom was there, like at the event, and she walked over to Blacksmith, and she's like, "Oh, you're not gonna beat him," and walked away. And I felt so justified when I beat him. I was like, look what now, Mom. It's true. She did. Laura, she was like,
Yeah.
look at how big he is.
David Rush proved her wrong with how well he drove in that match.
Yeah.
And Al Kindle,
Yeah.
Al Kindle drove that match really well too, despite all the damage they took. But
And it's so hard to drive upside down. Rush drove really well way better than I thought he would upside down. Because driving upside down is a totally different game. Like it's one thing to drive right side up really well, but it's another to drive upside down really well. And we spent so much of that fight upside down.
yeah, I kind of know that a little bit because I tested my ant weight that I made last spring for a college competition and driving it upside down just to see like can we still move while inverted and stuff, which we could, but I learned how much harder it is to drive a robot like that.
Yeah,
so
definitely
on,
is tougher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I couldn't. Well, I mean, I could, I guess, but I wouldn't like it.
Yeah, in terms of this fight, there were two things that really surprised me with this one. The first thing being that like the huge amount of damage Malice did to Blacksmith. Like Blacksmith is so well armored, and Malice coming in with like a lighter weapon, if I remember right, for some extra armor, and
Whose weapon was that?
Yeah,
Designed that weapon. Yeah, I did. I designed that weapon. I made that weapon. He didn't want that weapon. I wanted that weapon.
It worked so well
I made him pay for it.
because like the plow on the front of Blacksmith was messed up. There were some holes in the sides and top of Blacksmith, wrecked the power hammer, and including actually the arm of Blacksmith is up on eBay right now. How I noticed that.
The best part is
earlier.
It looks like a poker chip when it spins.
Oh,
that's my favorite part.
That's crazy how much you're not wrong about that too.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's gold. Because it has the gold. We use these really strong.
Right.
His idea was to use these really strong grade 8 gold, grade 9. I'm sorry, gold bolts. Like these massive. I mean, they literally weigh like a third of a pound each. Like they're heavy. Like they're very heavy bolts. And so we like they're really gold. Like really gold. So like the red and the gold spinning together, it looks just like the poker chip, and it makes me super happy.
Yeah, and then the other thing that surprised me was Blacksmith surviving this entire fight while on fire for like 2/3 of it, and remaining incredibly aggressive too. Like Blacksmith really proved its durability that Chris and Kenny were talking about.
Yeah, the veterans, they keep hitting, they keep coming, they don't stop until their robot won't move. Whereas rookies, sometimes like their robot won't move, their robot doesn't move, and they kind of just, they just give up. You know what I'm saying? Like they just do. Yeah. And the thing that I am really curious about though is who had the taller fire between Blacksmith in this fight and Tombstone in the Captain Shrederator fight. Like that's one thing that really came to mind after watching this fight for the first time, because like it reminded me of the giant fireball that was Tombstone in the Captain Shrederator fight, and it's got to be close. Probably Tombstone.
Yeah,
because, again, like so
I was kind of thinking
Yeah, his
Tombstone
was
just
a little
barely.
slow leak. Like Blacksmith was a very slow leak, whereas Tombstone was just the lipos just
Yeah.
pulling all the current at once. So
Yeah, it's always fun watching stuff burn. It's so much
yeah,
fun
it's
to
my
watch,
favorite.
and
Ugh,
one of
love
the
it. I
reasons why I
love it.
love BattleBots, and so
It's
on.
true. It's really true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a broken rib during this filming, right? So I was
Oh.
dying after the interview. So like they're asking me questions and I just want to like curl up and cry. And so I don't remember that interview because I was just like I need to go sit down because I didn't take any pain meds. I don't know I don't know what I was thinking when my doctor asked me. They're like, "Do you need pain meds?" I was like, "No, I'm fine. Thank you." And oh my goodness, do I regret it. That was the hardest part of that. And so like I don't remember that interview at all. So like they when it came on, it was a shock to myself too.
It was great, and I couldn't tell that any of that was the case too. So, oh yeah, hit it pretty well, oh and such.
Yeah.
And Pory, I know you had a question you wanted to ask Malice that you asked me if you could ask them a day or two ago.
What question was that? I actually don't remember.
The team member question.
Oh yeah, I remember now.
Okay, hypothetically speaking, if I change my name to David, can I join Team Malice?
I don't know. We don't accept all Davids. Only special Davids.
I'm a
Middle
special
name is
David.
Fortunate.
You're a special David. Build a robot and we'll talk about it.
He does have a few. He does have a few designs. It said.
I have a
good
design.
stuff.
Yeah.
You gotta build it. You gotta compete. So we go to these small events, right? We go to a lot of these small events around the country, and that's the biggest place that we recruit. We and when we see people and we can't bring them onto our own team, we actually help them get placed with other teams. Like we helped Brandon Young get placed with Mammoth because we went to a robot event in Maryland, and he just was so amazing, and his designs were so great. And the way he executed them and worked on them all day, like it was just so impressive. And so when we can't take them on our own team, we do find placements for them if there's openings. But we have to see coming to BattleBots. It's not about seeing the robots and seeing. It's about working on the robots and engineering the robots and figuring out solutions when other people haven't thought of them. It's not just about going to see all the cool fights, which I mean is super awesome and wonderful. But it's also a very physically draining and mentally challenging thing to do. And so not everyone that loves watching the show will enjoy being at BattleBots. There's a big difference between coming to build a robot and watching the show.
That's true.
Yeah, I
build a robot one day.
I definitely know some of those feelings because I'm currently involved in a club here on campus where we're working to build a 30-pound robot to bring to Robo Brawl competition in University of Illinois.
Totally different thing.
And yeah, we've
Might not like
run
it
into a
being
few
a BattleBot to
issues
work on a
and
robot.
stuff, and yeah, lots of the issues we've actually run into mostly involved like just buying the parts we needed and stuff just because lots of places are out of stock with what we need. And
yeah.
It's I mean, we ran into that with Malice version 1 where just everything, because they announced it right before COVID hit, we had to spend so much money just to get the same parts that we could get for like a third of the cost this year. It's amazing how much different it is building a robot than it is watching robots. It's a totally different thing, and you just won't. It's not enjoyable for some people to build robots that like watching robots. Like some people just need to like watching them, and some people need to like building them, and that's it. There's nothing wrong with either one.
yeah, it's definitely a good thing for me because like I'm a mechanical engineer here at college. That's what I'm majoring in, and always it's more fun to learn the material by actually using it for something like this rather than learning it in a classroom and stuff.
That's kind of what I was thinking because I'm probably gonna start out with a kit, but like a lot of people are like giving me crap for it, and I'm like I'm not gonna learn how to do it from scratch unless I get a kit and like learn the basics that way, and then I'll build one from scratch after that.
Oh yeah, definitely start with a kit. You'll like
yeah.
And
Because I'm
the
like a
kits aren't
slow
bad.
learner, so it's like I need the hands-on experience.
And, like,
Do not
kids
ever be ashamed of starting with a kit. I think that's so silly that people hate on kits. You know what?
yeah.
Kits give you a consistent like it takes away so many variables from building from scratch. It gives you a consistent baseline to figure out. Diagnosing what's wrong with the robot is the hardest part of robots, period. Because there's so many things that it could be. And so when you have a kit bot, it eliminates a lot of those things that it could possibly be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I know I started out with a Viper robot kit, and then I went to a 3D printed ant weight that one of my buddies and I made and competed with last spring, and then now we're currently working on making a 30-pound drum spinner to bring in April. And
We love drum spinners.
oh yeah,
Who doesn't
All
love
I've-
drum spinners?
Yeah, all I've worked on is just like a Viper lifter, which got 3rd place in ARC last
Yes.
competition. So that was fun. Currently, we're probably gonna work on like a full body spinner of some sort in a beetle weight in the beetle weight
That'd be
class.
cool.
Yeah.
it's kind of funny. Lots of the ideas us club members had for a robot that we'd bring, lots of them would probably not get accepted or would get us disqualified immediately. But it was good for the humor, because like our first interesting idea we thought of for the 30-pound robot was go with a harpoon to try to bring an opponent right in to us and stuff.
Stab them.
Yeah, basically. And then the other funny idea we thought of was we'd bring out like a 5-pound robot with a cardboard box on it, and then we'd hope to go up against a spinner bot that would slice into it, and then coming out of it would be 21-pound robots to just swarm the opposing robot. It would just be so much fun to watch, even though I think we'd lose.
That'd be pretty sick. I mean, I come up with stupid robot ideas all the time, and one day I'll make one of them a reality, and it'll be really dumb, and it'll be great.
I hope you make both of those ideas that I know of that you come up with.
Yeah, same.
So we move on to the next fight.
Yeah.
No, wait, hold on. I didn't get a chance to talk yet.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah,
Spin.
Spin.
I just want to geek out about how awesome this fight is because I love a good slugfest. And onto that, you have a horizontal beating a wedge. That was amazing to see. You know, I really love aggressive driving.
First wedge we were able to beat. Yay!
Yeah.
We had a plan for wedges with V2, and of course that got scrapped because of the shelf. And it's the one problem we have with Malice is that we don't have a way to take on wedges, and we had addressed it. We just couldn't implement it because of this shelf thing. But we'll do it next year. Like we have a redesign for next year where we can take on wedges better. The combination of the shelf being added and only fighting wedges this year is just such a difficult thing for us.
Yeah, that has to be so annoying to deal with. Like,
I think that's probably the hardest thing about Battlebots is the changes that they just don't tell you about, and especially dropping them so close to the competition. It's just so unfair, and it is what it is. But it's not fun sometimes to deal with that.
Didn't you say that
we
you guys
adapt
get
and we
notified
overcome.
of it
That's
like
what
a
we do as
month
engineers.
before the season was filmed?
Anyway, so go back to the fun spin guy.
Yeah, go right. Yeah, go ahead and continue.
All right. Also, I have so much respect for Al Kindle just throwing his hammer saw into Malice's spinner. That was so fun to see. And I just love giant fire. Like, fire just makes the fight just so much cooler in my opinion.
yeah.
All right. Well, before we get to the next fight, my last question is, what does everyone have for these two robots in terms of top 32 status for this season? Since both of these robots ended the season at 1 and 2.
Yeah. So I feel like both of these robots are probably at the front of the pack with the 1 and 2 bots, and I'm not just saying that because Bunny's right there.
No,
but,
I agree.
They're definitely I feel like those two and Lockjaw, if it wins its third fight, are the front runners for the bots with 2 losses, in my opinion. So I feel like if any 1 and 2s get in, it should be these 3 probably.
Yeah. There's so many 1-and-1 robots still in the field. Like the variance of what can happen like is extreme. Like I feel like a lot of things for like these 1 and 2 robots in general. I feel like if you need to get in, you need a lot to have like your way. It's like a playoff, like an NFL team that's like in the hunt for the playoffs and needs like 4 teams to lose and for their team to win in order to make the playoffs. Like it's ridiculously astronomical, like far away, but like it can still happen. So I feel like either of these, like any 1 and 2 robot, there's still a possibility they can get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally I do agree with Pory in the case that Malice is definitely the front runner 1 and 2 bot so far, unless Lockjaw gets its 3rd win, and in which case I'd probably say Lockjaw's the front runner for 1 and 2. As for Blacksmith, I don't feel very confident in them getting in. Yeah, they've had some impressive performances. They did have some good driving against Shatter as well as Malice. I mean, also, I just don't feel that like that free shipping win was like I kind of felt like free shipping won that, if I'm being honest. So like I kind of part of me is like Blacksmith should be 0 and 3 right now.
Yeah.
What you got, Spin, for that?
I agree with everyone else. Malice is like a really big front runner because it was really impressive in this fight. It was really entertaining. That's something they'd take into account. Also, it delivered so many big hits in the jackpot fight, and it also took out Tantrum's weapon, which is, in my opinion, kind of impressive. They've been really impressive even in their losses, so I just put them in the front of the pack right now. As for Blacksmith, I kind of agree with the civilian and cause like it has not been as impressive or as impressive Malice and just not been too impressive in general. I like it's really entertaining fights, but like it hasn't really been shown to be as strong a contender as some of the other 1 and 2s or just the bots who don't have a win yet, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, sounds about right. So yeah, in terms of my opinion, I agree that I think Malice is a front runner right now for 1 and 2s that could potentially make the top 32 because like definitely the strength of schedule is there because like this was like Malice started off with a team that made the top 4 last season. Then Jackbot, who's another amazing robot, and then Blacksmith here, and the quality of victories definitely is there too because Spin mentioned Tantrum losing its weapon. Bunny talked about how Jackpot did lose drive partway through that match and started having drive problems. And then this one, that was awesome from Malice. I could definitely see Malice making the top 32 with a 1 and 2 record. But of course, it will depend on how several robots in the remaining field do, because lots of those robots could be in the running too. Because like there's still 2 episodes left for Fight Night, and who knows what could happen. But I imagine we're probably in for 2 banger episodes. So yeah, and then in terms of Blacksmith, I'd say it's possible, but I think their odds are less likely compared to Malice of getting in, because like I definitely feel like we've seen some good stuff from Blacksmith, because like that spinner has proven to be effective as for when we saw them fight in free shipping, and they kept the durability too, because they took hit after hit from Shatter and just surviving this fight and stuff. The quality I would probably say isn't as high for Blacksmith as it is with like Malice, but I could definitely see Blacksmith making the top 32 as well. So, anything else from either Malice team members or any questions for them from the other co-hosts? All right, I'm thinking let's go ahead and go on to the next fight.
This was a fight.
But I should also say before we get started with this, shout out to Malice for getting me 3 points on King of Draft and stuff. And now we got
Malice got me like 20 points last year.
Yeah. But Malice is on my squad this year. For Draft.
I have a squad this year in King of Draft. It's definitely a squad.
Then the other member of my squad that appeared in this fight card, we got Black Dragon, who's taking on Claw Viper, a rematch from last season where Claw Viper is looking to get even the score a little bit with Black Dragon. And this was a decent fight overall, I'd say. and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And we really got to see what that grabber and lifter can do for Claw Viper, and it was very impressive to see. So I'll go ahead and leave the floor to everyone else here. What do you all got on this fight?
Yeah, so I did predict Claw Viper to win this fight because Claw Viper is becoming a favorite of mine. Because last year I was like, this robot has potential to be one of my favorites because Complete Control is one of my favorite robots of all time. And this is like the spiritual successor in a way. And all it needed to do to get me there was to take us to Suplex City. And now it's done that in 2 fights, which I'm very happy about. They definitely performed well. But unfortunately, they just couldn't take the hits from Black Dragon's like terrifying weapon. But I wouldn't even say this is a bad loss though, because they had a lot of really good moments. They
Definitely
got
not.
some suplexes in. It's just I don't know. Maybe they just need to like figure out like how to do suplexes without landing a robot with a vertical spinner on the bot. But either way, it was a very fun fight.
Yeah. See, I forgot that this was a fight last year.
Everyone did.
When
Yeah.
they brought up,
Except me, because I love that last hit the Black Dragon got on Claw Viper.
I'm just like,
every match.
I'm just like,
season.
which fight card were they in? And then I immediately thought of like, oh, they were in Bounty Hunters, obviously. And then I looked at the fight cards and I'm like, oh, okay. This I don't have much to say on this fight. I feel like this was a good showcasing of some of Claw Viper's abilities. Like, I expected it to be a lot more one-sided, and it wasn't that. I mean, Black Dragon is a great robot, but like Black Dragon isn't a robot that's gonna wow you necessarily, like big extraordinary hits. So it did what it had to do. I mean, it was going in here 1-on-1 and it needed a win, and it definitely delivered on a win. So like, this was a little bit of a no nonsense. Do what you need to do, win, get out on this scenario in like the book.
Yeah. This is. I loved the start of this fight. Like when I first saw Claw Viper actually get under Black Dragon, I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna do this. And then they didn't do it, which saddened me because I've always loved Claw Viper. Kevin's the dude who's built a robot that is a part of probably my favorite robotic combat fight of all time. So that's always yeah. I just love Claw Viper. It's kind of sad to see it lose, but this, just like Pory and BBBn said, this is not a bad loss by any means of the imagination. Like, this was a good performance by Claw Viper here.
I agree with you. This is really great fight. I just love that opening moment where like Claw Viper grabs Black Dragon and does a suplex. That was amazing. It really showcases Claw Viper's, whole thing. I love its lifting / suplex mechanism. That was really cool to see. I just also love how fast and aggressive Claw Viper was. This is like that first rush was just awesome to see. And then I see it toss Black Dragon onto its like back, and that was heartbreaking because I thought they were gonna pull it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I now really want to see after this fight, even though this technically wouldn't be allowed, is I want to see Claw Viper grab a hold of an opponent and then bring over to the corner zone where you could get out of the arena and then just suplex them right out. Even though that technically,
That'd be fun
I
to
suppose,
see.
is against the rule books and stuff, even though there's been a few out of the arena so far this season, it'd still be so much fun to see. But
nah, Jake saved it for us. Don't worry.
Yeah. No.
Stewart
Will
saved us
Bale
from
to
this.
save it for us, actually, because he
Wait,
got the
wasn't
first
it Will
one, I
Bale?
heard.
Yeah.
Will Bale.
Immediately back to back. It was first. It was Hypershock versus
Lockjaw.
Lockjaw. Thank you, Pro. And then the very next fight in filming was Hydra versus Gruff.
Yeah.
Immediately.
It was the Mr. Psycho video of the Hypershock episode of that fight, and it was just like, well, there was a rule, and then Hypershock broke it, so that's why Hydra just decided, oh, I'm gonna do the same thing, and then flip out too.
That's exactly what happened.
And I'm like,
they couldn't just let Hypershock get away with it the fight before and then not let Hydra do it.
It's a very arbitrarily written rule, I feel. Like, it's like Like, oh, if a vert
First
accidentally
position.
does it, it's okay, but if a flipper deliberately does it, it's like, no. Like, I don't know if I agree with that sentiment, but
Or is that really your new server nickname?
what?
No.
Yeah, he nicknamed himself now In the Green Ham.
I love
That's
that.
hilarious.
It's
I
incredible.
love it. But,
Not until your
I
wedding,
wouldn't-
Pory.
there was stuff going on in the VC yesterday when we were recording a video for Civilian Arts channel and stuff, and it was quite fun. But in terms of the rest of my analysis for this one, I feel Black Dragon kind of got like a 1 in a million shot with what happened with that suplex, because we saw Claw Viper suplex Black Dragon, and then Black Dragon's vertical spinner landed right on a wheel. And then it looked. I think what happened was pretty much they bent one of the side armor pieces right into that wheel, locking up that side. I want to say that's what happened, but I can't really confirm that. But that's what I've been hearing from
They're
other
really
fans.
delicate
But
wheels.
yeah,
That's why they're normally protected, but he does have really delicate wheels. Drive system, the brushless drive system, they're just, if you don't protect your wheels, they're just not good, and there's nothing you can do to protect it from above, so who knows?
Yeah.
Who knew? Perfect geometry. Couldn't
Yeah.
have planned it better himself.
But yeah, I kind of wonder how this fight would have gone if Black Dragon did not get that shot right there, because we saw Claw Viper starting to have some issues, and it looked like they seemed to struggle to like suplex Black Dragon again, because we saw them grab a hold of Black Dragon, and then rather than suplexing them backwards, part of the frame of their robot ended up getting into an awkward position instead, if you kind of get what I'm saying by that, before Black Dragon delivered a few death blows with that vertical spinner and ended the fight. What you got, Pory?
What? Oh, no, I was just agreeing with you.
Oh. But yeah, it was a pretty good victory by Black Dragon. They're at 2-1 right now. Claw Viper's definitely not out. 1-1 record. I would agree that was not a bad loss at all. For Claw Viper, I think they're very much in it right now, and I can't wait to see who they draw for their third fight. What does everybody think for top 32 stats from both of these two robots?
I mean, Black Dragon's obviously in. I mean, they're 2-1. 2-1s shouldn't be omitted ever. Justice for P1. But as for Claw Viper, it just depends on their third fight. As long as they don't like screw up their third fight, they should be doing okay. I mean, I think a win is needed for them to get in, but they're looking good at 1-1 at least.
I agree with Pory. I don't think they need to play like lights out, like and be like super aggressive, but I think they need to be like dominant enough in order to get like a good shot of getting into the round of 32. But I think for Claw Viper at this point, it's a win. Like a win is necessary to get into the top 32.
My opinion on top 32 status, Black Dragon's easily in. It's a semi-finalist from last year. It's 2-1 right now. I'd probably say it's probably somewhere between high teens to mid-teens, probably in terms of seeding, is my guess on where they're gonna put it.
Yeah.
In terms of Claw Viper, I don't think a win is as necessary as some other bots who are currently 1-1. But I do feel like a win would be really good for them. Like, as long as they get like a good loss like this one was, I feel like they should have a good spot to get in, maybe, for a 1-2 bot.
I think Black Dragon is just a lock because they're both Black Dragon and they're impressive in both of their fights. Claw Viper, they are impressive, but my biggest concern is not the bot being. My biggest concern is not the bot not performing well in its third fight. My concern is that the bot gets fed to like some sort of S tier god or something like that.
Like a rotator or like jackpot or something
That's
like
what
that.
happened to them last year.
That's true.
Yeah, they got hijinks and then they got Black Dragon and
Then
Gigabyte.
Gigabyte.
Yeah, in terms of my opinion so far, I think Black Dragon's definitely in. The strength of schedule's there, the quality of victories are there, and two great wins so far. And then Claw Viper, right now I think they're in a pretty good spot because I felt the part of my French victory was dominant, including that suplex was amazing. And then this loss to Black Dragon was definitely not a bad loss so far.
Yeah.
And then I think they do need a win in order to advance to the round of 32 and stuff, just because I feel how do I explain this one? Kind of like, while I do feel the strength of schedule is definitely there for like this fight, I'm not sure exactly about the last fight and stuff, because like while it was dominant and stuff, part of my French is kind of having issues, but I don't really throw much against them there and stuff, because I think if I remember right from the damage report, I think part of my French and was like getting the robot together kind of like last minute and stuff. I don't know for sure on that one.
I heard somewhere that like part of my French like got lost in shipping for like a few days or something. That's what someone told me. I might be totally incorrect. Bunny can correct me.
Yeah, probably would be best to correct.
I have no comment on Pardon My French at all, in any way, shape, or form. 0 comments.
Fair.
Gotcha. But I can't wait to see both Part My French and Claw Viper's next fight and stuff, because I bet both of them probably have another fight coming soon. So
just fight each other again.
Why not?
Random rematch.
Anything else or next fight?
Fight.
All right, next fight.
This
fight.
All right, Gigabyte and Smee, and yeah, Smee already had my respect because it's a neat robot, but they gained even more respect from this fight because that was an awesome performance from Smee, in my opinion, even though they didn't come out with the victory in this one. So
I didn't know they had like a metal, like a very like metal like wedge. Yeah. I just thought it was a little bendy wedge. I didn't realize that. So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, Smee's probability of winning is actually like a lot higher than I anticipated. Because I just thought like Gigabyte was just gonna like break it in half and shred it in half, and then like they would get counted out very soon. That's definitely not what happened. I mean, Smee didn't make it an easy fight for Gigabyte at all, and I think that's something that you can respect. And also the sound it made whenever like Gigabyte collided with the wedge, I thought that was very entertaining.
Yeah.
One little tiny side note, I just found out who outbid you on the Tantrum versus Malice Fist. Because it was Carrier, obviously.
Damn.
Oh, of course.
He just DM'd me. He's like, it's spelled M-I-L-I-S-E instead of C-E. I was like, LOL. Sorry, okay, back to the fight. I apologize for that side note.
Congrats to that person on the fist and stuff.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But yeah, this is great from Smee. Smee coming in with the AR-500 steel front and stuff, just to try to box Gigabyte into the corner and hope that the energy of the spinner will hurt them by having them hit the arena wall, while Gigabyte was hoping to hit the two robots on each side, as John Mladnick was kind of terming it and stuff, and it was a great fight. Civilian, Pory and Spin, what do you three got?
I really enjoyed seeing just like Smee's like kind of not fully, but like sort of wrap around Gigabyte. Like they bent, and like they just took the hits surprisingly well. I honestly expected Gigabyte to get like get a couple hits in the middle and just like tear into the sides, but that didn't happen for a while. Like Smee kind of just kept the pressure on Gigabyte.
Really hard for to fight wedges, man. Wedges make things difficult. They just you can't get into them. There's nothing to grip because it's just smooth. The most he could hope is to rip off some ease while he's trying to get some grip. I mean, really, there's nothing to grip onto in wedges. Wedges suck.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wanna go, Pory, or me?
Yeah. I mean, this was a very fun fight. Sad that Smee had to lose, because Smee is one of my favorite robots, but Gigabyte is cool too. So it was a good performance on their part for sure, and I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, it's kind of like that with any fight Smee is in. You don't really know what to expect because it's such an obtuse robot. Like, it's just such a bizarre design that you just don't know what's gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun fight, and they held their own for the beginning of the fight, and it kind of went how I expected it to. But yeah, it was a fun fight for sure.
Yeah, this I was just really hyped to see this fight happen. Mainly because I sound kind of sadistic saying this, but I wanted to see Smee get split in half, but I also didn't want that to happen because that'd probably give Joe Fabiani a pain in the ass to like reassemble that probably.
Yeah.
Poor Joe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Spin's having mic issues. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why
Okay.
he'll be coming across.
Has Smee so far been like pinned up against so many like destructive weapons? Like, okay, deep six, that fight didn't go how any of us sort of like thought it would.
Not at all.
But giant F2 weapon, and then Gigabyte, like, also a very notorious weapon for doing a bunch of damage. Like, I think the BattleBots producers are like sadistic and they want to see Smee break apart into like in half. So like, what if it's like next fight is like uppercut or something, so they can get like that big hit, like shears it apart.
I was thinking either that or Tombstone or something.
Next
like
fight
that.
we put
Here's Uppercutter's 2-0. Here, he's gonna fight Smee.
next fight we put it in a random rumble against Uppercut, end game, deep six, throw Captain Shrederator and Tombstone in there, a nice wave while we're at it. Yeah, and Minotaur.
Remember
Just throw everyone at it. Smee versus everyone rumble.
Smee can take all those jokers.
Hard to not have Smee fight a destructive robot because it's just so fun when it does.
True.
Yeah, especially with how well Smee really held their own in this one, but yeah, it seems like quite some other robots. Smee seems to have issues driving upside down and stuff, and that I think that's what caused them a lot of drive problems and stuff. I know Jen was talking about in her video from the Kraken fight how I believe they have signal issues and stuff that prevents them from driving upside down well. I'm wondering if that might be the same case with Smee. And then we saw that big hit from Gigabyte that removed a spinner and wheels, and that was an awesome hit by Smee. So, right, since I think we discussed the fight, what do you all have for top 32 status?
Let's see.
I'd Gigabyte's definitely in. I mean, it's a
Gigabyte's
2-1. It's a lock. It's a fan favorite. Made top 16 last year. If I had to guess where it's seated at, I'd probably go mid 20s to low 20s because in fairness, they did have a really good loss to Uppercut. Like that, they did give out good shots against Uppercut. But Captain Shrederator is kind of like a lukewarm win, and Smee was just like extremely and a really good win. But like, there's also probably going to be like other 2-1s out there that have like A, probably a tougher strength of schedule, and B, probably like slightly more impressive wins, like consistent wins.
Yeah.
Gigabyte, like, still seeing my rankings, but currently it's a low teens. I think it's definitely going to be. Wait, no, sorry. High teens and low 20s is definitely where it'll be seated. On the topic of Smee, I have no idea where to rank it because, like, to win against Deep Six, as much as it was a great win, like, it didn't really do much for me. Then this was a great loss. So I don't know where to put Smee. Like, Smee's definitely like in the bubble, like, and sort of the situation with Claw Viper where it needs like a good fight in order to get in.
It's kind of hard to comment on where you think like 1-1s like Smee or Claw Viper will be just because of their performances. Like, it's not like they give out bad performance or anything. It's just really hard to deduce where they would be at this point.
Right, because they're not like extremely destructive. They're still like good, decent robots. So it's very hard to figure out where they go.
Yeah. I think when it comes down to Smee, like Gigabyte's obviously in. I think. I mean, it'd be silly if they weren't. Smee, I think it just depends if how fight number 3 goes when they evidently fight against like Uppercut or Deep Six again or something. But like, but yeah, just I think Smee needs a win in its next fight because while a lot of people do kind of overlook the fact that despite that the Deep Six fight was Deep Six going into the kill slot, Deep Six probably still would have lost that fight because Smee did snipe a wheel before it went into the slot, and I feel like that'd be like a nightmare like gyro thing, Deep Six going through the wall and like something like that. But yeah, I think it's just Smee has to win its next fight to get in.
Yeah, my standings are probably about where Pory's at. I think Gigabytes, and no doubt, if I guessed where I'd probably seed them, I'd probably say like low 20s is kind of like in that range, because like the Uppercut fight was really competitive, even though it ended in a loss for them. They did get some really nice hits in, and yeah, the damage was crazy after that one for them. After seeing the damage report Uppercut posted and the pictures of the shell of Gigabyte, and Captain Shrederator here was unfortunately a disappointment, at least in my opinion. And it was a reasonable victory for Gigabyte. We did get to see some reasonable hits, but I just felt the quality just wasn't there. And then this victory was pretty solid, in my opinion, so I think they're a lock. For Smee, I think they need to win their third fight and stuff, because like while they did get that win over Deep Six, I feel like the quality of victories just isn't quite there for Smee yet. Like they did a good job like not getting hit by the vertical spinner and getting one of the wheels on Deep Six, like what Pory said, but yeah, I just feel the quality just isn't as high there so far. I just feel there's not enough on the resume so far. But we'll see who they draw for their third fight. I imagine it'll probably be a big opponent, like what Pory said, and it should be an exciting fight either way. So yeah, anything else on this fight or Spin actually?
Yeah, Spin, what do you think?
These may be my last words, in case my Wi-Fi decides to die again. But Gigabyte is in. A, they're Gigabyte, and B, great fights, and C, this was impressive showing how they just kept coming in despite being wedged, you know? As for Smee, even at 2-1, I don't know what their chances are, because that first win was, the wheel snipe was great, but like after that, he just kind of got stuck and he couldn't really show off what it could do. And then in Gigabyte fight, that was kind of impressive, but it still wasn't able to do very much other than just push it around. Though how long it lasted was very impressive. I just don't really know where it stands. One more win, impressive win, might get them in.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next fight.
This fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this
baby.
Hey Pory, I'll let you go ahead and get the floor first. I'll let Pory have the floor first since he predicted this one.
So, I knew it was gonna happen.
I don't know. Did BBN or Spin? Did either of you predict this one?
Oh, no, I didn't. I saw when I saw the promo shot of Glitch flying in the air. I'm just like, no, there's no shot, right? There's no shot. And then the shot. It was the shot. But I'll give the 4.
Okay, so I mean, I predicted it for a really stupid reason. I know a lot of people went Glitch because they revealed like a picture of the hit, but I was just like, oh, Glitch is neat. I'm gonna predict it because I think it's a neat robot and I like the aesthetic a lot. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people thought that Hydra was gonna dominate, and honestly, when they booked this fight, the fight bookers probably thought in their heads like, yeah, this is a win for Hydra, like, but. Against
this is the win that gets Hydra in the top 32.
Yeah, but against all odds, Glitch
told us Jackpot was our easy fight. They literally said that to us. They were like, "Oh yeah, we can put you against someone easy like Jackpot, or you can go against Witch Doctor."
I mean,
like easy.
Easy, yeah.
I feel like it was the same for Hydra.
It's probably what they did, but I don't know. It's just I kind of was expecting it because that like spinner is really scary, but Yeah, I mean, I don't know what
Well, we
else to
didn't see
say.
that spinner do much against Ghost Raptor.
It did some damage. It
Like, it did
broke
some
the
damage,
weapon.
but like it wasn't like insane.
Well, they weren't really driving too. I mean, they weren't really driving the hottest in
Also
this either.
true.
They're like driving into the screws and stuff. Like
I mean,
that's kind
yeah,
of what
that's
I like about Glitch. Like it just like vibes. It's just like it's not even really like being aggressive against bots. It just vibes, and then
It's just
sometimes it like
glitching out.
knocks the robot across the arena.
I think it's also just because, like, I know Bunny talked about this in the interview after the Shatter fight, but it's really difficult to drive a robot with Omni wheels and stuff, and
Yeah.
and like this is a rookie team too, like in terms of like BattleBots, and yeah,
Nice.
I would
really
gladly
like
take Bunny's word for that.
So hard to drive Omni wheels. You think it's not because Adam makes it look freaking easy, but Adam is a magician.
Yeah.
Adam has the
For a
best
long
hammerbot in
time.
the world, so
Yes.
Yes, he's so good at it. I don't know. I don't know how he drives that thing. It is crazy.
Yeah, he does such a good job driving Shatter. He also did a great job driving Blue and King of Bots and stuff.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's just a magician. That's all that he just has
be.
magic and like he
Yes.
doesn't tell anyone. Like secretly he's a wizard, Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this fight definitely like I definitely pictured like Glitch is going to get a bunch of big hits and they could win this fight. But I predicted Hydra because I didn't think it was actually going to happen, but it happened.
Yeah.
But,
I believed.
yeah. What's too bad is like Hydra, apparently it was a gearbox that stopped Hydra's drive on one side, at least for the majority of the rest of the fight, because apparently after the fight ended, whatever drive issue there was in there was resolved and they drove right back to their square at the end of this battle.
I mean that's unfortunate.
Man, I don't know if karma hit Hydra or something, but it's always just been some
Oh,
small
it probably
things,
did. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, because
flipped
like
Gruff out of the
the
arena, you
first
get
fight it
this.
was speed controllers. The second time their pump was having issues. Then this third time it was supposedly a gearbox that really stalled their drive. At least when I watched Jake Ewart's video on this fight. So
they signed a deal with the Devil last season to get the first seed, and then this is the result.
Yeah.
And they might even still make it into the top 32. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility, but man, that flip though that Hydra got was crazy. According to Glitch's report, Hydra apparently Glitch was only 3 feet away from hitting the ceiling after that one when I read their damage report. But what I will say is the drive and Glitch probably, I don't think it's perfect yet because like they were stalled for a little bit there. They said they were high centered on something temporarily in their damage report, but
it definitely was better than last fight though.
But yeah, but it's kind of crazy. Like after reading their Glitch's damage report from this one, because apparently they were testing their robot, dropping it from a few feet up and stuff, just to see like could they survive a flip, can they drive upside down and everything. And apparently that robot can't drive so well upside down. Like the back wheels do touch the ground, but apparently they wouldn't like drive as easily.
I saw a video where they were able to drive upside down. It wasn't good, and the weapon was completely off. That was the case.
Yeah, because I think like their weapon hits the floor
rather than actually driving.
And then apparently also when they were testing dropping the robot from the height, it apparently affected their gearboxes too. So a little bit concerned they seemed a little bit concerned for this one, at least when I read through that thing. But it worked out really well. We got to see some amazing hits from Glitch, and I think this makes up a lot for lots of the issues that they seem to be having in the Ghost Raptor fight.
Right.
And this is a great victory for Glitch.
Yeah, this is like a little similar to Jackpot's rise from last year. Because first like comparing the two. Glitch, well, first of all, they both fought Ghost Raptor. Their first fight was unimpressive. Well, a little bit impressive, but like mostly unimpressive. but they still ended up winning the fight. Their second fight, they had like a really big hit, and then in the terms of jackpot, they upset like a really strong robot in Lockjaw last year. And then when you look at this year, Glitch weapon improved a lot, and they upset a really good robot in Hydra. I mean, historically really good robot in Hydra. I have a lot of respect for Glitch. I loved their interviews solely because of the fact that they didn't expect to win either, and they were like jaw dropped and like they were like they couldn't speak for like half of the time.
Including
So
their still
nice.
scared.
They're
Including
great
they're
people.
still
I really
scared.
like. I
of
really,
Hydra.
really love Glitch. Like they're just such great people. Kyle's like great, and I think he's super wonderful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, what's the top 32? Oh, Civilian. Go ahead.
Wow, I don't get
I'll-
to talk about this fight
Go
at
ahead,
all.
Yeah, you talk about it, Civilian Arc.
Yeah. I don't have much to say about this fight.
Well, then why do
It's
you?
like- No, I do. I'm going somewhere with this. I am going somewhere with this. There were really good hits in this fight, though. Hydra with a good flip, Glitch with a good hit with its spinner. Now, I don't want to talk about the fight this much. I want to talk about, there are a few people out there annoying me when I said predicting Glitch was a bad call, which I didn't say. What I said was predicting Glitch just based off of the Glitch versus Hydra pick was a bad call. I don't know why people try to predict like a fight just based off of the pick, because like that's just like 1 second off of like hundreds of seconds. Like
agree with you.
anything could happen in the basis between that hit and whatever happens next. Like, so yeah, I just wanted to clear that up for
That's
the
the thing,
people
like
saying I wasn't.
especially in like King of Draft, like a lot of those like fans are like maniacs, and they'll like see like
Yeah.
a picture of a fight, and they'll be like analyzing every pixel of the picture, being like, "Wow, well, it looks like there's a little piece of debris on the floor over there. I guess that means that this robot wins." Like they're like crazy about it.
Yeah.
Oh, Hydra, like one of Hydra's little wedgelets is like half broken off. That means that Hydra's gonna lose. When that happens, like every single fight Hydra plays in.
Yeah.
Yeah, like people are like wild about that. Like I predicted it just because I think Glitch is neat. I definitely could have gone either way because there was evidence to support either way happening from the trailer and from when they posted the picture of like Hydra in the air. Like I don't
Right.
think there was any way of efficiently knowing that. But yeah.
Yeah, excellent stuff. So, top 32 status for these two robots.
I'm gonna get spicy here. Glitch, I think is safe. They're in. I mean, even if they lose fight number 3, I think they're kind of like I think they're okay because I mean they are 2-0. I don't think Hydra should get into the top 32 if I'm being honest. I like Hydra. It's a very neat robot. Jake Eward's a funny guy, but it hasn't done enough to get into the top 32 because
Hydra? They were number 1 ranked last year.
yeah, last year, but
Yes,
like this
thanks,
year,
Chris Rose.
I don't know. It depends because if there's like if all the 3-0s and all the 2-1s get in, like if all the 3-0s and 2-1s get in, and all the more deserving 1 and 2s, which includes Malice, by the way, get in, then sure, if there's a space for sure. But I just think that if it does get in, it's gonna be like a pretty low seed because it hasn't impressed.
There's something you're not considering in here.
What?
Hydra is neat.
It is neat. It's a very neat robot. I mean, I was on that Hydra hype train when in their debut season. I was revved up for the Bronco fight, but this
I wanted
season
Bronco
just
to win. I'm
they've been
sad.
struggling.
Yeah. Do you want to go BBN or can?
Yeah. Okay, so I think both of these robots make it in the top 32. I think Glitch is way more deserving to make it in than Hydra. I wouldn't put Hydra in the top 32. I think Hydra makes the top 32 because of sort of like I don't know if Bunny was making a joke or being like satirical about it, but she has a point of it is Hydra. It is one of the most notable BattleBots in recent seasons, and I don't think production and the selection committee are gonna let it fall out of the top 32. It doesn't matter what you do in the past. It doesn't matter that they were the 1 seed in 2020. It doesn't matter that they were the 3rd seed in 2019. It didn't matter coming into the season that they were undefeated in the regular season. None of that matters. All that matters is this season. But they're going to take prior seasons into account. Hydra sneaks in the 32nd seed or something like that because it is Hydra.
Yeah.
I think it will get in, yeah, but I don't think it should, but I do think it will, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Pory and I are in agreement.
In my opinion, Glitch is probably in. Any bot that ends 2-1, and Glitch has 2 wins already, so it should in theory get in. Currently,
if I had 1 seed from last year, so.
Currently, if I had to seed them, I'd say they're probably somewhere around say low teens, maybe low to mid teens. Now in terms of Hydra, probably. I don't know. It's such a weird. It had such a weird fight. Endgame when it first got that one flip, that was a beautiful performed flip by Hydra. But then the rest of the fight was kind of just bumpkus. And you go on to the Gruff fight where it won that fight, but it didn't have the Hydra flips where we know and love. Then you go on to the Glitch fight where it also had a big flip, but then after that, bumpkiss. So I don't know where I'd put this bot. On one hand, I'm oh, yeah. On one hand, I'm yes, this bot had really good moments. It should get in. And on the other hand, I'm okay, it only got 2 insanely Hydra level flips. So I don't know. If it depends on how many 1 and 2s there are. If I'm being honest, I'd currently say that I'd say that Hydra's chances of being in the tournament are lower than Malice's, but higher than Blacksmith's, in my opinion.
Fair analysis.
Ooh, can I get a turn to talk?
Yep, great.
Yeah.
Floor is yours.
Okay, so I feel like when it comes to Hydra, there are 2 schools of thought. Would they get in, and should they get in? Because on one hand, they're Hydra, they're fan favorite of production, they will get in. However, I do think it's not as solid as some people would say, because Hydra has been unreliable this season so far. It kind of died in its first fight. Its valve or something like that broke, and they had tiny flips, and I don't know what happened in this Glitch fight.
Gearbox.
So, if they can get their problems fixed, I would say good chance, because they are entertaining bot usually. However, I don't think they've been very impressive so far. So I don't think they should get in, because unless the next few 2-1 teams or 1-2 teams are not very good, I don't think they should get in, despite being Hydra. But I think they would get in, but a really low seed, because they are Hydra and they are a fan favorite of production.
Yeah, in terms of my opinion, I think Glitch is in, no doubt. 2 victories, and including this last one against a high-tiered opponent. And then Hydra here, they're kind of on the bubble for me, because
currently on the bubble.
Yeah, I currently feel if I was a selection committee, I probably would not accept Hydra into the top 32, unfortunately, because so far in the regular season, several robots I feel have much better resumes than Hydra in terms of the quality of their fights, because the strength of schedule is definitely there for Hydra. They started off the defending champ, Gruff as a high tiered opponent, and then Glitch is looking great so far. So the strength of schedule is definitely there, but I feel the quality is just not there. But like what many people here brought up, Hydra was the 1 seed last season, and then they were the 3 seed in 2019. There's a lot of history with this robot, including it's such a fan favorite with how high it launches opponents and stuff. I could definitely see the selection committee putting Hydra in at the Hyper Shocker Gruff spot of last season at 31 or 32 and stuff. And yeah, there's a lot there to consider, and that's kind of why I feel Hydra is currently on the bubble right now. It's we could see them get in, we might not. So yeah. Anything else or next fight?
I wish Painting
Yeah.
was here.
All right, we got Tombstone and free shipping, and yeah, this matchup does make sense because like Gary Jin and Ray Billings have a huge rivalry in terms of other competitions. Because like when Robo Games was a big thing before the 2015 BattleBot season began, Original Sin and Last Rites fought so many times, and
Mm-hmm.
Gary Jin won several of them. And that's one of the reasons why I actually picked free shipping in this one for my predictions video, just because he knows
Same.
so well how to fight Tombstone. And yeah, it was a pretty good fight to start out and stuff, as yeah.
Fight was mid. This fight was very mid once Tombstone lost its weapon.
Yeah.
This fight was unremarkable, and that is all I will say about this fight. I'll let everyone else talk.
What? No, I actually really like this fight because you
Me
get to see
too.
free shipping drive actually pretty well on one wheel. Like I just am in shock and awe, like on how they did that. And Tombstone, like controlling free shipping just without a weapon and just being a push spot was also amazing to see. Like spectacularly, it may not seem very impressive, but like I was so amazed by it. I really love this fight.
Yeah, it was a fun fight.
Back to Robo Games days.
Yeah, I miss Robo Games. It was so much fun to watch videos from it. But like the funniest part about this fight was literally like a day before this episode aired. My buddy Yin, we were chatting about this upcoming episode, and he was like, didn't Original Sin have like a design feature to it where like if it only had one wheel it could still drive around the arena? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. And the next day I'm like, hey Yin, there's the answer to your question. This was funny. But this was a fun fight, and it was fun to see free shipping like continue to control itself while only on one wheel, and it was fun to see Tombstone prove people wrong that it has actual pushing power. I mean, it was a fun fight both ways. I mean, I love both robots. I wanted free shipping to win because my website's on the robot, but you know, it is what it is. It was a good fight though, either way.
It was an all right fight for me. I do see where BBN's coming from. This was definitely kind of a disappointing fight just because these are two like big legends of the sport. You know, you got like Gary Jin, who I think has won like the most robotic competition, like most robotic competitions, like in terms of like Robo Games and stuff with Original Sin. Since that's one of like
I was expecting a slugfest out of this fight.
Yeah.
I mean, we got that for like the first 30 seconds, and then it turned into a push bot with one wheel, and then a robot with a horizontal weapon unintentionally becoming a push bot. Like, I was expecting this to be like a duck. I was expecting this to be like a gruff. Like, and this happened, and I love disappointed, dude.
Yeah, I mean, this was still a good fight in my opinion. I mean, and yeah, Ray Billings did drive this fight well once it lost its weapon, because like, much like in the Yeti fight, what people don't really understand is like Tombstone does have drive power. Like it has the drive power, and Ray knows how to improvise in situations like this. Like it was pushing around Yeti in the 2016 season. I'm pretty sure it pretty much had a stalemate in terms of push power against Rotator in the 2019 season. And then in this season, Ray was managed to put free shipping up on the screws at some point. So it was good driving by Ray.
Yeah, he drove it very masterfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. He yeah, we saw Tombstone pluck off 3 wheels before losing their weapon, which I'm not sure exactly what happened. I haven't seen a damage report or anything like that. But if I took a guess, I would guess a wiring issue, maybe within their internals, similar to kind of what happened to Valkyrie once or twice last season, and when they lost their spinner. But I wouldn't know for sure, or I don't know if Bunny or David would know. Oh, but it was a good fight. It was very impressive to see free shipping drive on one wheel, like what Pory said, and free shipping got some control moments in there too. But yeah, I felt Tombstone definitely sealed the deal in that one. Like even though they already like I might as well just say this right now, how I scored that fight, because it was actually really close with how I scored that fight. So, because I scored damage 3-2 for Tombstone, because I felt, even though free shipping definitely did not do a lot of damage, losing that weapon was key for Tombstone, and why I'd give free shipping credit for that. And yeah, and then aggression and control, I felt Tombstone probably had both those categories. Control was about even for me, but then the pin that Tombstone got to put free shipping on the screws sealed it for me. But good battle overall. So yeah, what do you guys got for top 32 status?
Tombstone makes it in. Free shipping doesn't. By the simple fact that it's 0-3. It's a really entertaining bot. It's upsetting that it's 0-3, but that's it. I think Tombstone's like mid to high teens. It's in. That's like where it'll be slotted. It might be slotted higher because it's Tombstone, but that's where I have them.
Yeah, I mean Tombstone's definitely in without question. It's 2-1, and it had some juicy moments. And you know what? Free shipping, we'll bounce back, go through the bounties.
Oh, okay.
I believe in free shipping winning a bounty. Honestly, that's my hot take of the day.
I'm gonna keep it 55th Street. I think free shipping should be a bounty.
Oh, it should be definitely.
Definitely.
Legacy of Original Sin.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? But I feel like free shipping's gonna like have some spicy moments in the bounties if they enter one.
Yeah. Okay. So hot take of the day for my seedings in this. Tombstone's definitely in, but I think it's gonna be high 20s if I'm being honest, because in first fight it got set fire to Captain Shrederator. Second fight it got into a double KO against Mammoth, which in fairness I think Mammoth should not have been counted out in that situation. And then third fight it lost its weapon to free shipping, so like I don't think it should be like a seeded like high 2-1. I feel like it should be like mid to high 20s in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, pretty much what everyone else is saying. You know, Tombstone's getting in because it's Tombstone, and free shipping is out because it's 0-3. I just want to express how sad I am that free shipping went 0-3 because all of its fights were very solid. It performed really well. It's just got really tough strength of schedule.
And also, it should have beat Blacksmith, so.
Yeah. In terms of my opinions, free shipping's unfortunately out, but I agree that it's a little bit sad because like free shipping had a really tough schedule. We saw a really entertaining bout when they fought Blacksmith, and they really held their own. And honestly, all three of those fights, even the uppercut one, because free shipping had some great moments, and then of course I wonder what would have happened if free shipping didn't get stuck at the end of that uppercut fight, because it did look like uppercut was crab walking at the end of that. But I do agree with Pory that I think if free shipping enters like a bounty or whatever's happening at the end of the season, that I think free shipping could make a run and stuff towards the cash prize if they're not bounty legend, because like what Civilian said, Gary Jin is a legend in the sport, and yeah, could definitely see that out of them. So
57 years of being the man.
Oh yeah. All right. Anything else or next fight? Next fight it is, I think. Yeah, it's this fight. Pory. It's Pory's favorite battle. And first thing I gotta say before I leave the floor to everybody else here, I love that design that Ribbot's got for the frog head, make it look like a race car. And then
great.
I love that Ribbot does this. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. Like it is literally my favorite thing in the whole. When they came out against Axolotl and they had their little Axolotl like face, oh my god! Can I just like say no? It's so perfect. It's like no, it's perfect. And anyone that says anything else is wrong and they're lying.
I agree.
It's perfect.
Yeah, and then I also found it really funny when they both met in the middle of the battle box.
Yeah, I
like
loved
like
that
they were gonna
part.
start racing and
I-
stuff.
I
But then
I
P1
love.
accidentally hit the spoiler off the back of Ribbot, and
I love how we've seen a lot of like in when they go all like robots activate and like the both bots just like meet in the center of the arena and just vibe. We saw that in this fight. We saw that in Scorpios versus Whiplash where
I
they
like
just
the
like
fist bump with
touched.
them.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that
we
fist bump.
jackpot
That was.
kissed. I don't know if you saw, but we kissed.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to rewatch that to see that.
We did. We went.
it's great. But
Because why fight when you can dance?
yeah,
true.
exactly. Why fight when you can dance? So.
Exactly.
Glove, not war.
All right, what do you guys got on this fight? I know Pory's gonna want to go. Pory's got a lot of stuff to say about this
Yeah,
one.
you go
Yeah,
first.
I'm gonna make it short and
Right.
sweet so Pory can have the floor. I think this was a good fight for both robots. Like, I mean, we already knew that P1 could sort of tango with a decent, good robot in Valkyrie, even though Valkyrie had a lot of issues of their own during that fight. But I thought that they held their own, and they were in my rankings. They were the lowest 2-0 robot, and I considered moving them up after this fight because I was genuinely impressed with P1's performance. I mean, that's not to take anything away from Ribbot, but Ribbot got some good hits in, and I think this was a good fight for both robots. So I have nothing like bad to say about this this fight.
Oh yeah, this was definitely a good fight for a 3-0 match. I'd probably say it's
Yeah.
the best fight for the 3-0 match so far, even though we've only got 2 fights of those so far.
Should have been main event.
Yeah, sure, Pory. But
It should
yeah,
have been. It was a better fight than the actual. Well, we'll get into that though.
but this was a fun driving match. I was kind of confused about P1's wedge scheme, but after seeing how it performed in like the middle,
it worked well.
From what somebody told me with the wedge scheme is the front hinge flipper could like come down and like you could use it as like an arm underneath the robot. That's what someone told me. I don't know if that's true, but it makes sense.
Yeah, and this was good driving on P1's part. Like there were genuinely good moments on both ends. Like Ribbot like tearing apart that one of those wedges on P1, and then P1 taking off parts that, well, not parts, but like the top part of the top armor, quote unquote top armor of Ribbot was fun to watch.
Go ahead and let Spin.
Spin,
We'll
what
go
do you
ahead and let
got?
Spin go next, and then we'll
Yes,
let Pory.
I'm also
rant.
gonna keep it short for Pory, but this was a fun fight. I love Ribbot's costume, and I love when P1 got not shelved, upper decked. That was great to see. I love it when a bot gets upper decked.
All right, Pory, the floor is yours.
Okay, so this was a very fun fight. P1 definitely held its own. It has some very good moments, and it makes me happy to see that P1 has grown into what would be considered a contender. You know, originated as like an 0-3 bot, and now it's like probably gonna make the bracket, and it should have made the bracket last year. Let's be real, but it definitely held its own. But you know, it's going up against future champ Ribbot. You know, Ribbot 3-0, the first 3-0 robot. They're going all the way. They're gonna go into the bracket. They're gonna take out Tombstone. They're gonna take out Hydra. They're gonna take out Endgame. They're gonna take out everyone. Ribbot's going all the way. We're gonna win the giant nut, and it's gonna be glorious. And I'm here for it.
Hey, Pory, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You know who would beat Ribbot?
That'd be
It's
a
right
fun
behind-
fight, honestly.
If you can't see, I was showing one of the E-Tech covers. That you sent me,
Oh,
buddy.
yay!
I would have.
We fought the Gary Jin's 12 a bunch at Norwalk. I'm sorry, David Jin, Gary Jin. Sorry about David Jin's robot a bunch at Norwalk, and we have never beaten him. I do not know what that man does, but he has some sort of spell. Where like every time we go against him at Norwalk, he just kicks our butt. One time I think we could have beaten him, and we had our motor mount break in like a spectacular fashion, which was weird and crazy, and he just had some voodoo going on, some froggy voodoo. I gotta kiss the frog to make it a prince, I guess.
Maybe Witch Doctor should hire David Jin as
Yes,
part
Witch
of their
Doctor
team
needs to
for
go in
voodoo
there and do
reasons.
some sort of,
In
break
this
that curse for
analogy,
me.
Did that make Witch Doctor Dr. Facilier from like the movie The Princess and the Frog?
That's funny.
Yes.
There we go.
That's funny.
But yeah, in terms of this fight, great performance on both ends. Unfortunately, it looks like P1's strategy just really didn't go to plan, because what they were originally trying to do was try to outmaneuver Ribbot, it looked like, and try to get at Ribbot from the right angle, try to avoid the vertical spinner. But David Jin did a terrific job preventing that from happening and stuff. And a lot of that's just because Ribbot drives so well. Like, that driving ability is powerful on that thing. Like, even when it had only 2 wheels in the uppercut fight, like, that push power it had was still outstanding.
Yeah.
And then, like Spin said, that upper deck kill shot was amazing for Ribbot, and was definitely the shot of the fight, in my opinion. And yeah, this was a lovely fight, and P1 definitely had some good moments too. They showed off some of the push power in that robot when they got underneath the Ribbot and then brought it to the pulverizer. It was great to see moments from both robots in this, and like what Pory said, it's crazy how much P1 has like evolved coming into this season. Because like last season, they probably should have gotten into the top 32 with their 2-1 record, and they started off the season with a victory over Valkyrie and stuff. It was a big name in BattleBots, and then they won against Jaeger, and then of course they went toe to toe with Ribbot here and put up a good fight. So
P1 is a great robot, and it is really undervalued.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
Plus, their theme is so on point. Like everything about their. I have a P1 jacket that I love, and it's just like a racer jacket. No, they're just so good. They're just
I have a
on
P1
point.
T-shirt and a wedgelet from the Sidewinder fight. So.
The Sidewinder.
Oh yeah. I was first thinking when I got the wedgelet it would be from the Valkyrie fight, but I honestly love it that it was from the Sidewinder fight too, because I love both robots, and Sidewinder's amazing. I hope Sidewinder returns one day, because that design is awesome. So.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wasn't Sidewinder supposed to be in season 5 before COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like they were accepted and stuff.
Yeah, they were accepted
before the season got canceled for the first time, and then something occurred or something like that, or I don't know exactly what happened, but what do you guys got for top 32 status for these two robots?
Yes.
Make it in. I think that's without a shadow of a doubt. P1 mid to low to maybe even high, mid to low teens, and then maybe even high 20s. And then I think Ribbot is easily in the top 10. I don't know how much of a hot take this is, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I mean, I don't like Ribbot going deep this season, and it's not because it's a bad robot or anything. But when you look at its schedule, strength of schedule, it is very
yeah.
weak.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Like, so it's like a returning quarter finalist. It should have been given like, I don't know, like Valkyrie or something, or like just Tantrum or something. Like, give him a high tier well, just give him like a opponent that did well previously. I get why they gave him Defender, because like that's Jason Vasquez, that's from the Vasquez family. That's understandable.
It's not like they didn't face like any teams that were like unknown. Like Overhaul is a robot that exists. A decent robot that exists.
Overhaul was a former quarterfinalist.
Exists.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Base.
Overhaul's a bot that should have made semifinals.
True. Base.
But
That's how Charles talks about it.
the first two were grabber robots, and then the second one is a front hinge flipper. Not a lot of they're all control bots, and not a lot of damage can be you can receive a lot of there's not a lot of damage that you can receive from these types of robots. I think it would have been better if we saw it fight like a fusion or something like that. I think Ribbot's a top 10 robot. I just don't know how well it can do in the tournament.
Oh, it'll win. It'll go all the way. Well,
Okay.
the one guy in King of Draft had a theory as to why Ribbot got easy opponents, and it's kind of a tinfoil hat theory, but I kind of buy it, to be honest. His theory is that that when Ribbot beat Uppercut, fans were mauling really hard because they were like, "Oh, the goofy frog robot beat this high tier robot." So his theory was that the production didn't want to give Ribbot Tombstone and then have Ribbot beat Tombstone, and then the fans blowing up in the Facebook group being like, "Oh, why did this happen?" It's probably not. That's probably not the case, but it was a funny, viable theory that he mentioned.
In terms of top 32, Ribbot's definitely in. Currently,
Yeah.
they're actually, I won't say where I see them. Nah, not doing that yet.
When Mantine gets
but-
here.
Yeah, when Mantine gets here. For P1, they're in. I'm kind of.
Yeah.
They could range anywhere in the teens range, if I'm being honest, because we had an impressive fight against Valkyrie, an impressive fight against Jaeger from Akame ga Kill, and an impressive loss against an impressive showing against Ribbot. I just don't know where to put him because Jaeger on one hand, it's an unknown rookie team. And as for Valkyrie, they also lost Drive on one side, so it was kind of both bots were beaten in that fight. So I don't know where I'd put them. I just know that they should probably be in the teens range. It could range from anywhere to 12 to 19.
I'm just gonna reiterate. Both are in. They both have to be in. P1,
Oh yeah, they had. Oh yeah.
Yeah. No way. They.
Yeah.
Remember last year though.
P1 again.
Shout out to P1.
But yeah, both P1 mid to high teens. Ribbot, I think, kind of got screwed by his strength of schedule. It could genuinely make top 8, but it got all control bots. So I just don't know where it lies. Probably somewhere somewhere between 10, 15 range. But I just feel bad that they all got control bots. They can't really test it how it takes spinners and stuff, or test weapon reliability against a bot or something like that. Kind of just.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion, if either of these robots don't make the top 32, the selection committee screwed up even worse than they did last season.
Can you
Both
imagine
of
they
these
had
robots
omitted a
should
3
make
and
the
0
top
bot?
32, and yeah, because both of these robots, the strength of schedule is there, the quality
Is everyone
is
just
there.
quiet?
Well,
What?
I'm just lying.
Are we slagging? We might be lagging.
Yeah, we can hear Bunny, but I think
Yeah.
Just
she's
connect and
lagging.
reconnect.
Yeah.
yeah, Ribbot, I would probably say the strength of schedule kind of holds them back a little bit, in my opinion. And
Hi, Bunny. We'll miss
I would
you.
probably see them kind of maybe in the 8 through 12 range is kind of where I see them. And then P1, I kind of see them in the middle of the pack for the top 32. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but should be fun either way. Anything
Hello?
else, or-
Can you hear me
Bunny,
now?
can you hear us?
Hello?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got you.
Bunny?
We can hear you.
Having issues.
Alright.
Alright, well, I'm just gonna pretend we had technical difficulties and get going. Because
That's
it's
fine.
not working.
We'll go ahead
Not
and go
working
into
at all.
the next fight.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna try one more.
Oh wait, shit!
Alright.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, this fight happened.
Oh yeah, this
Yeah.
fight happened. And yeah, this is the YouTube exclusive fight where we got Jaeger and Captain Shrederator, and so on. So
I just can't hear any of them anymore.
this one's one to talk about.
I see them lighting up, so they must be like talking.
Yeah,
You
we're
know.
talking.
Hello.
Yeah, it sounds like technical difficulties, but I'll go ahead and leave the
Yeah.
floor to you guys. What do you guys got on this one?
I
They're
really
lighting up,
like
but
this
they're not-
fight,
I
you
can't-
know,
I'm
even
on
though
message screen.
Shrederator didn't really spin as fast, it still got some pretty decent hits, and I like seeing Jaeger actually be sort of successful, you know, with I forgot what the Sawbot's name is, but with the Sawbot actually getting under and slung into Shrederator, that was cool,
Arm
you
muscle.
know. Arm muscle, is that what they're called?
Arm
Yeah,
muscle
that was
and
great to see.
toe cutter.
Yeah, okay. But you know, I think this is a above average YouTube exclusive fight, you know? And I just like seeing it. Also, just Shrederator toss around Minibot was great to see.
Yeah, it was just Bunny good now. Okay, I'll just go then. Yeah, it was a fight. I mean, it was definitely probably better than the last few we've gotten. I mean, Jaeger had some fun moments in there. Captain Shrederator was kind of just like vibing at mid speed, taking out Jaeger's weapon, which was, you know, a vibe. And yeah, no,
Alright.
oh,
I mean, Captain Shredder need to win this fight. I wish we could see like another like fight where Captain Shredder really like goes full speed and does a shit ton of damage. But I don't know. This was a win for Captain Shredder. I don't know how what the likeliness of it getting into the top 32 looks like though.
I mean,
yeah,
wait, you don't think Captain Shrederator should get into the top 32?
No. Yeah, it's a conflicting it's something that I'm very conflicted on. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like any 2-1 should just get in because it got 2 wins.
Yeah.
And I mean, it beat Tombstone. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. I'd if I were to see that, I'd probably say Captain Shrederator for me is a high teen bot. You know, yeah, it beat Tombstone, but like, I mean, that Tombstone hasn't been 100% this season at all. So
I
I
think
mean,
if it makes it in, it's like in the 30s or low 20s. I think the last two fights have left me with a bad taste in their mouth, and that's why I'm sort of like hesitant towards Captain Shrederator.
yeah.
right, Bunny, can you hear us now?
I can hear you
Bye-bye.
now. Sorry about that.
Nice. Let's go.
Yay! I had to restart my computer for some reason. Discord. I like logged out of Discord and back in, and it was not working.
Oh
I'm
man,
back. David's
Discord
gone
just
now.
Discord wilds out a lot. It's weird,
Yeah, it does
but
that.
Yeah, I've had to do that a few times myself.
Discord's weird sometimes. Not a big deal.
Yes.
I'm back. Which one are we on? Let's see.
We're
Shred
on Captain
versus
Shrederator and
Jaeger.
Jaeger right now, the YouTube
Cool.
exclusive
Alright, I'm here.
fight.
I'm caught up.
Right, and yeah, I kind of wonder what was going on with Captain Shrederator because my first thought was maybe were they spinning up to like half speed, kind of like to like prevent them from damaging themselves too much in this one and stuff. But then we saw Brian Nave talking towards his weapon operator and stuff. It sounds like there was an issue going on with that one and some sort of internal issue, I'm guessing, but I don't know what that was. I haven't seen a damage report from them, but yeah, it was too bad that it wasn't spinning up as fast, but it still got some nice hits because we saw him clean remove the undercutter on on the undercutter robot and got some nice hits on the overhead saw. And it was nice to get to see some hits from Jaeger too. So
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I think this was a good enough win. You know, I mean,
yeah,
Shrederator wasn't at 100% for sure. I mean, it still dished out some hits, and it still was, you know, it was one of the better YouTube fights. At least it wasn't just like
yeah.
the robots don't work. So
out of
that's
out of
good.
curiosity, Bunny, if you could hear us.
I get you. Yep, we're good.
Do you know who was driving the undercutter and who was driving the overhead saw between the two on Jaeger? I'm curious which one Emmanuel was driving and stuff. I'm curious if you know who drove which
Ian
one.
was driving the overhead saw.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I thought he
makes
was
sense,
driving the
yeah.
And I
overhead saw.
love the guy so much, but I always
Yeah.
forget his name.
Yes,
The
same
Jaeger
here.
guy. I love him so much. He's so sweet and so nice, and I talk to him a lot. And I just never. I'm really bad with names to
His
begin
name's like
with.
Ralph something.
Ralph.
Yes, that
Thank
sounds
you.
about right.
Yes, Ralph. He's so nice, and
Ooh,
he was
Ralph.
driving the spinner.
Yeah, like I've never met him in person, but like he's so entertaining on Battlebots, and then
He's
same
so
thing
lovely.
here.
He's just like he's such a nice person. He's just like the sweetest thing.
Yeah.
And he was like my teammates are here, and like I gave everyone water bottles, like all the teams I gave them water bottles, and he's like do you have a spare for my teammate? And I was like, yes, of course. He's such an angel. He was
Yeah.
so concerned to like give his teammate like the whole like experience, even though his teammate wasn't there, and it was such a great thing.
Yeah, I give so many props to Jaeger just for getting down here and stuff, even though even though it was just Ralph that got here. And then I also give lots of credit to the entire BattleBots community. Like Emmanuel helped them out this season, and I kind of wonder if that's the reason why Big Dill is bounty only and stuff, just to like help Jaeger. But I give so much credit to the BattleBots community for helping Jaeger like get into the arena a few times and.
Yeah.
And we
Well, he had like a bunch of stuff lost. Like he was the one who had a robot lost. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Yeah,
like
didn't they lose the drum spinner version of that robot?
Yes. Yeah, it was like just and like oh my gosh, and like he had his teammates not be able to come at the very last second because of the COVID shutdowns. You know, because it was like pretty much everything was open back up, and then because COVID like surged with Delta, it was like 2 days before the event, 2 days. Like it was everyone had their flights booked, everything, and his teammate couldn't come at the very last second. So like what a tough draw, like you know what I'm saying? Like when you have a multi-bot.
Yeah, I felt bad for like all the UK teams that couldn't come at the last minute because of the travel restrictions they imposed because
that one
there were
sucked.
rising COVID cases
Right.
during
Right, and
filming.
I mean, like, of course, it's the right thing to do, but it's such a
Yes.
bummer. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you work for a year, and then they change things last minute. It's just a bummer. It's just like such a terrible thing to happen.
Yeah, because I know
Yeah.
UK robots like Monsoon, Beta, and Sabretooth is going to be at BattleBots too, and there were a few other UK robots.
I love Gabriel.
We
Gabriel
lost
is like the
Ominous.
nicest guy.
Yeah. Yeah, like there were so many robots from the UK that I was looking forward to seeing at BattleBots this
I
season.
know, and
but
I haven't seen
unfortunately that
Gabriel
didn't
since
happen.
China. We went to China together in 2019, and I haven't seen him since then because
Oh.
of all this travel nonsense. And I really like Gabe.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a bummer.
All right, so we got top 32 status for both of these robots. So
Shrederator's in for sure. I mean, they got 2 wins. One of their wins is against Tombstone. I mean, I'd be shocked if Shrederator didn't get in. Jaeger, I don't think they're in, but I feel like Jaeger, like I know a lot of times like they base will you get a second season on did this robot get a win, but I feel like Jaeger definitely deserves a second season because they do have a lot of potential, and considering that they did do decently considering the majority of their team wasn't there. Like I want to see them come back and become like the premier multi-bot, bring that drum spinner, and just like really shake up the competition with the power of multi-bots and stuff.
Yeah, I already said my thoughts on Shrederator. If they get snubbed like they did last year, I'll be completely annoyed because, in my opinion, they also should have been in the top 32 over Hyper Shocker Gruff. But Jaeger, they're probably out. It's unfortunate to say but they have had good moments in the competition. Maybe we'll see them in a bounty fight and have some good moments there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want to
already
go
said
last.
Apprehensive towards Shrederator. I do think in hindsight it makes it in. I don't know. I just don't have a good gut feeling about Captain Shrederator. I can't describe it. Jaeger's not going to make it in. I just don't have a good gut feeling about Captain Shrederator.
Yeah, and in my opinion, which I'll let Spin Doctor go last, like what he said, but for Captain Shrederator, I think they're in and stuff. Like, this one might not have been the most impressive, in my opinion, just with the issues they were having with that full body spinner in that fight, and kind of the same thing with the Gigabyte one. But you can't take the Tombstone fight out of consideration. Like, that was a terrific win from Captain Shrederator against such a big name as well. And I think Captain Shrederator will get in. I bet in the 20s would probably be where they place it. Jaeger, I'm kind of with a lot of the others where I think Jaeger's probably out, unfortunately, because I love Jaeger. Like, that's an awesome clusterbot duo. And I hope we get to see Jaeger back another season. But I hope we'll get to see them in the bounties as well, assuming that's what's happening at the end of the season. So,
Yeah.
all right, Spin, what do you got?
Okay, I'm gonna start with Jaeger. At 0-2, I don't think they're gonna get in. I mean, they had two really strong openers against both P1 and Shrederator, where he got that mini bot under P1, and it just couldn't really do anything with that. And he also got the moment where he got Shred against the it was the upper deck and it sawed into it. That was excellent, but it couldn't really perform after those two openers went very well. So I really want them to do well because they're a mini bot and I love them. I don't think they're gonna get in unless they get like some crazy upset against like Uppercut or something. Okay.
I do that Uppercut's third fight will be Jaeger.
Okay. So I think you all are failing to recognize one very big thing. Captain Shrederator is 2-1, and they have a win over Tombstone. They are likely in the top 32. So I just want to say, Shredemption, baby! Let's go!
Love
Shout
it.
out to
Thing to
Shrederator
win.
for getting me 5 points in the King of Draft.
Oh yeah, Shred also got me 5 points. Let's go!
Oh yeah, both of you do have Captain Shrederator on your King of Draft team. Unfortunately,
Surely
Malice and
the-
Black Dragon got me points this
Rescue
week.
leagues and I'm first place, so I'll take that.
Yeah,
Why the Marquis let
to win.
Ribbot follow the 5th round, I will never understand.
definitely. All right, I think let's go ahead and get on to the main event.
Yay.
Let's make this as quick as the main event was.
Let's do it, boy.
Beautiful.
Okay, next we'll go to power rankings now. Green, come on.
All right, if you say so. No, we'll talk about this fight, but yeah. So this one, a little quick, but yeah, it's a rematch from 2018 where these two fought in the USA versus the rest of the world event, where Sawblaze won that battle, but a lot of people disagreed with that decision on social media and stuff, and I don't know if anybody here, Civilian Arc, I think he's giving a sign that he disagreed with that decision, but
And game one.
yeah, we definitely got to see. I'm just gonna leave the floor to the rest of y'all.
Okay, so here's the play-by-play in the fight. So the robots exit the square, they turn around and yeet. That's the fight. Thank you.
That's basically what happened. I think it just proves that when you're up against a top tier opponent, you cannot make a single driving mistake.
Yeah.
Because they will capitalize on it. I think that's what, like, the life lesson for people to learn. If you're facing a veteran, top tier robot, you have to drive perfectly in order to win. And one slip off that Sawblaze normally does lost in the fight. I'm absolutely manifesting this in whenever the bracket comes out. I don't even care how both Sawblaze and Endgame get to the fight. I want them to fight each other because I want a slugfest. Like, in my mind, what was gonna happen?
Yeah.
I was expecting like a fight for the 1 seed. Instead, it was kind of just like the annual Sawblaze main event bro moment as Sawblaze has had
Great
some bra
That's a
moment.
great way of putting it. Holy crap.
Sawblaze has had a lot of bra moments in past main events. Tombstone main event, it got interrupted by the pulverizer, which is part of the reason it started losing that fight. Uppercut fight, it made a driving error, which caused it to get yeeted, and then it exploded. And then in this fight, it kind of just backed away and got udoed. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's
You're
like
forgetting just being countered by Broncos ground game.
I think a lot of that.
I mean, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised by that
that.
much.
Like a lot of that, I think, was also because Sawblaze did get caught in the kill saws temporarily, and I think just like how do I say this? Like recovering from that was kind of like what backfired.
I mean,
and
that's what I was referring to. Is
Yeah.
like you see that happen
Yeah.
a bunch of times. They get caught on something, they do that biggie spin, and then they go, and then they continue.
Including, I think I saw on Discord, I think Jack Barker said that himself. Apparently, I hear Endgame supposedly did offer the chance to have a rematch in this one, but then the selection committee or Battlebots did not give them that opportunity, just because I think they wanted to see like a 3-minute slugfest between these two robots, but I can't exactly confirm that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we probably about covered it. Sawblaze share that there was not much damage on their robot after that one, but it was fun watching Sawblaze get airborne, even if it ended up popping them out of the arena. So this should be interesting. What do you guys got for top 32 status for this one?
Game's the number
Yeah.
1 seed.
Yeah, I mean,
What? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think both are in. Both are getting high seeded. My guess for seeding, Endgame gets number 1 seed because champion and 3-0 and impressive bots in its schedule, and Sawblaze gets 7th seed because Sawblaze.
Oh yeah, Sawblaze
Sawblaze
has to get the
has-
7 seed.
Oh yeah, it always has to get the 7th seed. I didn't think about that. I have them currently. They're probably gonna get like 10th or something, or higher, depending on how the undefeated teams play out.
Okay, so in
He's
terms
the
of
best
seeding,
2-1 team.
in terms of seeding, Endgame is definitely a top 3 seed. In terms of Sawblaze, I honestly think they're gonna get the uppercut seed this season. And when I say uppercut seed, I mean they're gonna be the highest seeded 2-1. They're probably
That makes a lot of sense.
Wouldn't be shocked if they're like top 5 seed or something.
They should be 7.
Yeah, I think both robots are definitely in. I'll wait to share where I put Sawblaze until we get to power rankings, which is next. It could be a surprise to some of you where I have Sawblaze, but Endgame,
Is it 7?
I predict they're the 1 seed in this one. Like the strength of schedule is there. Not their victory. Some of their victories might not have been the most. Some of their victories might have not been like the best and stuff, like the Hydra one, for example, where it kind of didn't live up to the hype, unfortunately. But like with the strength of schedule, they got a solid victory over Witch Doctor, and I'll even add Sawblaze to that too, even though this fight was quick and stuff. But I think the quality victories and the strength of schedule is there for Sawblaze and Endgame, and I think Endgame will be the 1 seed. I'm betting Sawblaze will be the 2 and I'm betting Sawblaze will be the best 2-1 and either so far, because like their first 2 victories were so dominant over 2 top-tiered robots, and lots of that's got to be taken into consideration. So
Yeah.
Anything else, or should we get to power rankings?
Power rankings.
I'll
Sawblaze number
contact
7, baby.
Mancine.
Yep.